Recording. I'm back recording. Oh, I just lost a whole bunch of footage. Anyway, I'll start the video again. I was gonna do a video on the what was my title gonna be? Money, the biggest theft in history. God, this is gonna be a good one. This will pull some people in. Biggest theft in history, Dan. Who? What was the biggest money theft in history? Well, the biggest money theft in history is still ongoing, and I'm looking at the victim right now. It's you. Yes, you and me and everybody else out there. We are the biggest victims of money theft there has been, probably. Yes, right now, the government and the independent banks that are put there by the government, basically, are stealing from you. Yes. It's this thing called inflation, okay? And without getting too much into what everything is, because it's going to take me ages to explain all this. The easiest way to explain it, right, is for people that don't know what inflation is if you have a lot of something, it's not worth as much, okay? And if you don't have very much of something, it's worth more money, okay? The same applies for the actual notes that we call money. The more of it you have, okay, the less it's worth, okay? If money is not attached to anything real, okay, money used to be attached to some a precious metal like gold or silver back in the good old days. And what that does is that binds money from being created out of thin air, okay? But when it's not bound by gold or silver, it can be created by men that want money for themselves, okay, or for something they want to do, okay. So it's just a simple case of pressing the print button and they rattle off a load of cash, okay. Well, when more cash comes into existence, the value of that cash, the value of those little bits of paper decreases because there's more of it, okay. This is inflation, okay. So we're all victims of this, right? Who bears the cost of all this extra money that's printed? Because if you and I have $1 today, and then the government goes and prints some extra dollars, now my dollar's not worth as much as it was, okay? And the effects of inflation take effect. Okay, my dollar's not worth as much. I just lost money. Okay, that value has been stolen from me. Okay, whether you want to call it an unfair kind of tax or whatever, it's theft. Okay, so it's value extraction, right? That's a polite term of what we would call it. Theft, value extraction. Now the problem is, where was I going to go with this? Oh, I was going to talk about actually how much has the dollar lost over over a set period of time. Anyway, I just went and had a quick look on the internet, and if we go back to 1850, a dollar, what they're telling us on Google is that in 1850, a $1 from 1850 would now be the equivalent of $30 in today's money, okay? I don't think that's right. I think $1 back then is worth a hell of a lot more than $30 now. Okay, so I thought, well, what we really ought to do when we check out inflation is we really ought to pit it against something that really doesn't change value very much. We've really got to go back to gold, okay, and have a look at what the value of gold is. Now, I know there's people buying and selling huge amounts of gold and it changes the price and all this stuff, but relatively speaking, it's pretty stable, okay. So I did a quick bit of mathematics, and so an ounce of gold was $20 back in 1850, okay? And they're saying $1 is about $30 now, okay? So you have to pull me up if this is wrong, because it's late at night and I'm just doing this real quick. So in their terms, 20 times 30, if we had $20, which was the equivalent of an ounce of gold, and we times that up by what today's value is, we'd end up at $600 should buy me an ounce of gold today. 600 of the Federal Reserve notes that we've got now should buy me an ounce of gold. It doesn't come close. In fact, an ounce of gold today is like $1,500, something like that. If we take $1,500, let's divide that back, okay, by 20, and that gives us $75. Okay, so am I thinking about this right? 75. What's 75? I've just written this down and I can't remember what I was doing. Yeah. So basically, I can't remember what I'm doing. It's so late. Basically, $1 back in 1850 should now be worth $75 now. Okay, so that's double what they're saying. At least, well, it's double and a bit, isn't it? So they're a bit sneaky about all this, you know. And when you watch people talking about investments and stuff, I mean, if it was up to me, I would definitely not have any money in the stock market or anything that is made up fiction. Okay, because there's no real, there's nothing backing it. You know, it's just all made up. It's pie in the sky fairy tales, la la land. You're in the real world. You've got to, if you want to secure your assets, secure them with real material goods. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. You know, gold, silver, okay, copper even. I mean, that's quite a valuable metal. It's used a lot. There's a reason why people go around thieving copper all the time, because it's valuable. Okay, ammunition, even toilet paper. You know. Something you can exchange with somebody, something, it's got value, it's worth something. You know, anything that somebody uses, material items that don't really have value is, I mean, I don't know, I can't think of anything. I'm looking at the Christmas tree, I'm thinking like Christmas ornaments, fairy lights around the tree, you know, that kind of that doesn't really have any useful value other than as a decoration. What I'm saying is, if you're going to invest in something that it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, land's great. They don't make any more land. But if you haven't got money to invest in something expensive like gold or silver, and silver's not that expensive, copper's not that expensive. If you haven't got, you know, put your money in cans of beans or something, or you know, dry goods. I mean, anything really. This wasn't really supposed to be a video about prepping or anything for the apocalypse or anything like that. But you know, why people want to invest in the stock market is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. I mean, unless you're doing a quick in and out and you've got money to burn. I mean, basically, what the stock market is gambling. Okay, there's no other way of putting it. It's basically gambling. Okay, so if you've got the money to lose, great. But if you don't, it's something you shouldn't do. You know. Anyway, what more to say about it? Google ain't right on inflation prices. They're going to try and keep this down. And I know, even just growing up myself, you know, what 20 pence would have bought me when I was a kid. And what 20 pence, going back to England now, what 20 pence would buy you now in England is, no, you won't get anywhere close to it, you know. So the way they cover inflation is they're pretty cunning about it, you know. Anyway, I'm at 10 minutes. I don't know what else to say really about it. It's the hidden tax that nobody talks about. Nobody really thinks about it. The amount of money that you probably lose in inflation would be more than enough to cover the workings of a government or anything that needs to be paid for by the government, without them needing to raise any other taxes, really. If the government was the ones running the money system instead of dishing that one out to another private organisation, you know. What more to say about it? People just, I don't know why people don't realise this stuff. I mean, I tell people about it all the time. They go, oh, they don't really, you know, if I say, well, you know, you're being taxed right now just through inflation, and they don't really think about it at all, you know. And then you look at people that talk about buying and selling gold and stuff, and they think that the price of gold is going up. The price of gold doesn't do anything really. Okay, there might be some manipulation out there, but what really is happening is the price of the value of the dollar is dropping. Okay, so it takes more dollars to buy an ounce of gold. It's not. They do a good job at covering all this stuff up, you know, and it's again comes back down to common sense. And you know, there'll be people that'll drop a comment in it, I'm sure, that'll, Dan, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, you just can't. You know, I'm not here to change people's minds on it. I'm just giving you my opinion, and I don't really care. Don't. There's no point in me trying to change your mind, and there's no point in you trying to change my mind. Okay? There's just no point to it. Anyway, with that being said, if there's something useful in here, if there's some shred of usefulness that you can pass on to somebody else, please spread the word. Like the video, leave a comment. That'll help it get seen, and hopefully, you know, make useful stuff for other people. You know, that's it. Got nothing more to say. Have a good one. Bye.